All right. Let's get the noise level down a bit more, please. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to JAMHacks 6! For those who don't already know me, my name is Marco, and I am one of this year's lead organizers. It truly is my honor to be kicking off this phenomenal event with all of you, and I dearly hope that you are all as thrilled as I am for what is in store for this coming weekend. During this opening ceremony, we will walk you through everything that you need to know to succeed at this year's JAMHacks. But before we delve into these items, there are first a few acknowledgements and insights that I'd like to share with all of you. For many of us, our experience with the pandemic has been much of a blur. For me, this is the first time in over 2 years that I've attended an in-person hackathon. For JAMHacks, it's been over 3 long years since we've been able to run an in-person event. Let's do a quick show of hands. How many of you here were at JAMHacks 3 years ago? Well, a few hands. As expected, it is a pretty new experience for most of you. Now, just out of interest, raise your hand now if this is your first time attending an in-person hackathon. Look around. I know that many of you may feel nervous or out of place or otherwise anxious, but this is a crucial step that you've made in progressing your future careers and goals. This room is full of future leaders, innovators, and friends. And I compel everyone to make the absolute most out of this network sitting right in front of you. Regardless of whether this is your first or 10th hackathon, the deal is the same. We all want to learn as much as possible and walk away with new insights, experiences, and great conversations. Earlier, I mentioned that we would tell you how to succeed at JAMHacks. And well, my personal advice to you is that your experience is really what you want to make of it. I know it's somewhat cliche, but please don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to go to a workshop. Don't be afraid to make a team. And most importantly, don't be afraid to fail. In my first hackathon, Daniel and Ditya, two of the other co-leads over here, they can tell you this is true. But in my first hackathon, we failed so badly that we didn't have a single thing to present. We stayed up the entire night and produced literally nothing. And you know what? I am so thankful for that experience. The fact is, I wouldn't be here with you today if I did not take that risk and failed miserably at that hackathon. Don't be afraid to take risks. I promise you that it'll be worth it. Beyond the incredible resources and networks at your fingertips, I'd like to acknowledge that JAMHacks is very special because all of this, the entire in-person piece, nearly didn't happen. And I'd say that nearly is an understatement. 2 months ago, we made the big decision to pursue an in-person event. We didn't even have a venue until a month ago. In fact, we were nearly a couple hours away from calling it quits from running an in-person event when Carrie Griffiths, an absolute rockstar events expert here at Waterloo Engineering, gave us a call. She saved us, and we all owe Carrie and the Dean of Engineering, Mary Wells, an enormous thank you. Without their incredible generosity and commitment to supporting our local youth and technological initiatives, JAMHacks in person simply would not have happened. I firmly believe that one of the many things that makes Waterloo Engineering such a powerhouse on the global scale is their commitment to endorsing things like JAMHacks, and we're very, very fortunate to have their support today. On a similar note, the organizing team has been nonstop dedicating their free and even sometimes non-free time to making JAMHacks happen in person. I'd like to especially thank Shinshu, Daniel, and Aditya, who have done a phenomenal job leading the way and leaving no stone unturned. Yves Guo, one of the original JAMHacks founders, has also been instrumental in their efforts. And he is here joining us on this weekend today. So let's get a big round of applause for all the past and current organizers that have made JAMHacks what it is today. The last thing I have to say before I hand it off to Daniel, our highlights event of tonight, Chris Albinson's keynote, will be starting at roughly 6:30. For those who don't know Mr. Albinson, he is the CEO and president of Communitech and has created more than $45 billion in value in various companies, both through his time in Silicon Valley and here in Canada. We will be using Slido to take questions from the audience. So if you have any questions for Chris Albinson, please drop it in the Slido either now or during the keynote, and we will do our absolute best to get to as many questions as we can. The Slido link is right on the screen here, so make sure you get those questions in during or before the keynote. Okay, that's all from me for now. Once again, I am very excited to watch this weekend unfolds, and even more excited to see all the learning that's yet to happen this weekend. Thank you.
All right, first, let's dip into some housekeeping items, shall we? For our in-person hackers, you can self-register as a guest on the University of Waterloo Wi-Fi. We're going to leave this up for 10 seconds right now, so feel free to take a photo for reference. If you'd like more help, visit our important in-person channel for a UW site that contains detailed instructions for connection. First of all, whether you're in person or online, please join the Discord server using the link displayed on the slide and complete the verification process, if you haven't done so already. This is the platform that we'll be sharing all announcements through, and you will also be using it to communicate with our mentors, sponsors, and other hackers. Please keep an eye out for the announcements channel, as this is where we'll be posting all important announcements about meals, upcoming workshops, activities, and many fun activities. The important All Hackers channel has important information about our schedule, judging instructions, and technical resources. Everyone, please take some time to carefully read through everything in this channel. For our in-person hackers, the important in-person channel will be your best friend this weekend. It contains information about our floor plan, instructions for you if you wish to leave the venue, and other important in-person information. If you have any general questions or concerns about the event, use the help desk channel and an organizer will respond to you as soon as possible. Alternatively, you can also just talk to one of us in person at the check-in desk or if you just see us around. Once hacking begins, if you need help from a mentor, you can use our request help channel. After a mentor has responded to your request, you can use either our mentorship voice channels, take it to the DMs, or meet up in person if you guys are both here at the venue here today. Aside from that, feel free to explore the server, introduce yourself in the introductions channel if you haven't done so already, and please chat and have fun with your fellow hackers. Next, we would also like to remind everyone to register on our dev post at jamhacks6.devpost.com. This is the platform that we'll be using for project submissions. Now, regarding leaving the venue, if you wish to leave our venue at any point during the day, it is mandatory that you fill out our sign-out form posted in the important in-person channel or using bit.ly/JAMHacks6 signout. In this form, you will tell us about where you are going, who you are going with, and what time you expect to be back. Also, we will have a curfew in place from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. This means if you decide to leave the venue at any point during the event, you will not be able to re-enter the event during these times, during 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So please plan accordingly. In other words, please buy any potential late night snacks or meals before 10 p.m. Now I'll hand it off to Shinshu.
at night. And aside from that, you're definitely allowed to use any hallway space or any of the 3 floors, on any of these 3 floors for hacking and or sleeping. And again, this is a reminder that our floor plan is available in our important in-person channel. And if you ever need help with finding a room in this building or just general assistance otherwise, you can look for one of the organizers or volunteers. So as you guys can see, we, the organizers, are dressed in light blue and the volunteers are dressed in dark blue, or it's a purplish blue. All right, and now that we have all of the housekeeping items out of the way, we want to briefly go over how JAMHacks 6 will run. So get ready for some event information. So at JAMHacks, you can work in teams of up to 4 to create a technological solution to a problem. And yeah, that does mean you can work alone if you wish. And really, that's all the requirements we have. We don't want to limit your creativity, so there's no particular theme that your project needs to stick to. That said, make sure to keep listening to find out about our judging criteria and category prizes, because you might want to cater your judging or your project toward them. If you don't have a team yet, don't worry at all. After this ceremony, you will have a 2-hour block to eat dinner, talk with other hackers, and form teams. Make sure to also use the Find a Team channel in our Discord server. Next up, speaking of activities like team building, we want to now show off all of the cool events that we have planned for this weekend. Please note that all of the times on our schedule are stated in Eastern Time. And as you know, our opening ceremony began around the 5:45 p.m. mark, and we are planning to wrap this up by 6:30. At 6:30, we have an exciting keynote speaker who will be joining us virtually.
Thank you. So dinner will start at 7 p.m. for all in-person hackers. And during this 2-hour block, you can work on finding a team, networking with other hackers, or checking out our sponsor booths. At 8:45, we'll be handing out DQ dilly bars as a snack. Following dinner time at 9, we have an intro to Python and an intro to Web3 workshop. We'll be sharing information on how you can access all these workshops in the announcements channel 5 to 10 minutes before they begin. So make sure you have notifications on. At 10 o'clock, we have a workshop to teach you the basics of web development, as well as at 10:30 to be a scaffold Ethereum workshop as a continuation of the previous Web3 introduction. Also starting at 10:30, we have a few activities. Both Scribble.io and Minecraft Parkour will be open to all hackers to run via Discord, so make sure to stay tuned for all of those. Fast forward to Saturday, breakfast will start at 8 a.m. During that time, we'll be hosting an informal hacker meetup for those who are in grade 12 who are entering the post-secondary studies in September. After breakfast, we have another series of workshops. These include an Intro to APIs workshop at 9:30, Intro to Git at 10, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence with Machine Learning at 10:45, Introducing Your Free Personal Office, hosted by our sponsor OnlyOffice at 11, Graph Theory and Computer Science at 11:15, Intro to UI/UX at 12:30, and Intro to Front End at 1. At 2 o'clock, we have a tasty and fresh barbecue lunch. Following lunch, there will be even more cool workshops, such as Intro to Docker at 3:45, Working with WebSockets at 4, and Understanding Quantum Computers, hosted by IQC at 5:15. And finally, a robot for everyone hosted by UiPath at 6 o'clock. Now, dialing us back a little bit, at 5:30, we invite all interested in-person hackers to take part in the game of Werewolf, which will be headed by our MLH representatives. 7 p.m. is when dinner will be served. At 8 o'clock, we'll be hosting a fireside chat for all students and professors in tech. So we invite you to come listen along if you're interested in pursuing something related to computer science after school. At 8:30, we will host a Jeopardy competition for all in-person hackers that are looking forward to test their trivia knowledge. At 10 o'clock, we challenge all in-person hackers to a game of slideshow karaoke to test their humor and improvisation skills. Next, at 11 o'clock, there will be a fun cup stacking activity to compete with fellow hackers to see who can build the tallest cup tower. Coming up at 11:30, we'll be hosting a Minecraft speedrunning competition, and this will continue past midnight.
On Sunday, an early breakfast will be served at around 7 a.m. At 8:30, our last workshop on hackathon pitching will take place, so make sure to tune in. All project submissions will be due at 10 a.m. sharp. Following that is a big block of judging time, as well as lunch and a samosa snack. Our closing ceremony is scheduled for 5 p.m., and after that, we'll unfortunately have to say goodbye to all of you. We have a schedule jam-packed, pun intended, with cool learning opportunities and fun games, so we highly encourage you to come to as many of these as you can. Next, we want to go over some of the resources and perks that you'll receive as a hacker. For everyone who's here with us in person, you should have already received some of your swag at check-in, which included a t-shirt, stickers, and some sponsor merchandise. And in addition to that, we will be providing 6 free meals as well as snack tables throughout the event. Thanks to our sponsors, we have many useful resources for all hackers to use during and beyond our event. In particular, everyone will be able to access a 1-month subscription to Echo 3D Business Plan, a full access license to Interview Cake's coding interview prep course, free access to .xyz domain for the first year, a 1-year subscription to 1Password Families, a 90-day extended trial of Balsamic Cloud, a 1-month subscription to Wolfram 1 Personal Edition, and a $100 60-day free trial to DigitalOcean. Activation information for these resources are posted in the Important All Hackers Discord channel, so be sure to take a look. Now, moving on to our judging process. We will be holding live pitches for everyone. For in-person hackers, you will have the opportunity to physically stand in front of a group of judges, present your project to them, and answer any questions they have. A similar process will take place via Discord voice and video chat for online hackers. We have posted our judging handbook in Important All Hackers Discord channel, so please be sure to check it out and inform yourself on how judging will work at JAMHacks 6. Judges will evaluate your projects based on creativity, usefulness, presentation, and technical difficulty. Notice that creativity is weighted more than all the other criteria, so don't worry about creating like a fully functioning project or fully polished project. The goal is just to have a prototype. We definitely don't expect your submissions to be market ready in just 36 hours. As a reminder, please remember to register on our dev post and submit your project before Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Otherwise, we will not be able to judge it and your project will not be eligible for prizes.
Okay, I know everyone's excited to hack, but if everyone can settle down for a little bit, we're almost done our opening ceremony. Okay, so next we want to give a wholehearted thank you to all of our sponsors, Toyota Motor Manufacturing Canada, Communitech, QuantStamp, Ethereum Foundation, University of Waterloo, UiPath, OnlyOffice, Cognitive Systems, DigitalOcean, Institute for Quantum Computing, Control V, Best Buy, Gen XYZ, Echo 3D, Framer, 1Password, Balsamic Interview Cake, our studio, Bisect Hosting, Inspire AI, Linode Cloud Hosting, Bounce, Desjardins Insurance, Magnetic Forensics, Wolfram Alpha, MapleSoft, and Sticker Mule. So without all of these sponsors, this event cannot happen without them. So first, we want to share a brief video message from QuantStamp about some of their recruitment opportunities.
QuantStamp is the leading blockchain security company, and we've secured over $200 billion in digital assets for over 250 startups, foundations, and enterprises.
We have provided security services for some of the best projects in the space, including ETH 2.0, Maker, Beeple B20, and NBA Top Shot.
It's an honor to work with my teammates. They're the greatest people I've ever worked with. They're smart, hardworking, and helpful to each other.
We are a remote-first company. Nobody cares where you work from or about the time zone that you work in, as long as you do your work. Our team is spread across the globe. We work out of 5 continents and 13 different countries.
We have quarterly retreats around the world where we not only plan for the upcoming quarter, but we do fun activities like go-karting, playing football, and boat parties.
We understand that employee burnout in tech can be a problem. problem. Therefore, we have active measures in place to make sure that this doesn't happen.
There are many great perks for working at QuantStump, including compensation packages on par with big tech, generous vacation time, family leave, and more.
The maturity level of the blockchain industry is akin to the internet in the early 90s. We don't know what the blockchain industry will look like in 20 years, but we'll be there every step of the way to secure those digital assets.
The Web3 industry is here to stay. Blockchains now manage over $1 trillion of digital assets, and companies like Visa and Stripe are getting involved. Come join the revolution.
Okay, wow, that sounds super exciting. So if any of you are involved in Web3, make sure to check out the opportunities offered by QuantStamp. So now let's hear from Jody, the undergraduate recruitment director at the University of Waterloo.
Hello, and welcome to the University of Waterloo. I'm Jody Behringer. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Recruitment here at the University of Waterloo, and it is my pleasure to welcome you onto campus today. We are thrilled to have so many brilliant minds on campus this weekend participating in JAMHacks. I wanted to take a moment to let you know how much I admire each and every one of you, from the brand new coders to the expert programmers in attendance, for taking time to participate in this event, to learn new things, and to pursue something that you're passionate about. At Waterloo, creativity and collaboration are key values of our staff, our faculty, and especially our students. And we can't wait to see what exciting ideas that you bring to life over the next few days. And hopefully, some of you will become Waterloo students in the future. Good luck this weekend. Take advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to you. Make some new friends, learn some new things, and above all else, have fun. Good luck.
Like what Jody said, we're also super excited to see the amazing projects that will come out of this weekend. So you're more than welcome to check out the campus this weekend. Just let us know through the posted sign-out form. Okay, next we want to share a message on behalf of UiPath. The UiPath community is an ecosystem enabling your success through education, support, and networking. The community consists of more than 1 million professionals and citizen developers learning, getting support, and succeeding together in their automation careers. Some of these benefits include receiving training and certifications through their automation cloud, earning global recognized credentials and certifications through their automation cloud, and earning with UI certifications through their academy, getting various kinds of support through their forums, building connections through community events, reading and contributing to the UiPath blogs and tutorials, as well as receiving recognitions as UiPath community MVPs. We will be posting this slideshow after the ceremony ends so you can all access these hyperlinks. So last but certainly not least, we will be sharing a message on behalf of DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is a scalable compute platform with add-on storage, security, and monitoring capabilities. So here are some of the services that DigitalOcean platform can provide for the development and management of applications. So with 12 data centers across 8 global markets, more than 1,500 peers around the world, and more than 1.2 petabytes of RAM and 50 petabytes of storage capabilities, DigitalOcean is a globally accessible platform. DigitalOcean is well liked by customers because its services are simple and intuitive to use. It has a strong and engaging community for developers, and it produces heartfelt support and unparalleled customer service, and it contributes to open source software. So if you want to give DigitalOcean a try, you can scan this QR code right now for $100 and a 60-day free trial. And alternatively, you can use the link on the slide as well to redeem the credit.
All right. Next, let's give a big shout out to all our partners, Waterloo Engineering, Hack Club, MLH, and Hack the North. With their expertise, and guidance, we're able to produce the best JAMHacks possible, so we cannot thank them enough. Now moving on, our MLH representative, will come to share some information about MLH sponsors and prizes. Everyone, let's give a warm welcome to Jacqueline.
Hello, friends. I'm Jacqueline from Major League Hacking. This is like my 40-something hackathon, but my first one ever was here in E7. I am super, super hyped to be here. Pro tip, 2 things. 1, I know you're all going to ignore me and forget what I'm going to say. So when you do, head over to hack.mlh.io for everything that you need to know. And 2, you should probably listen and not talk because I'm judging 5 of the prize categories this weekend. And if you're talking, then you might not be able to win. So just saying. So first up, what is Major League Hacking? Well, we are the global hacker community, and it's our mission to empower hackers just like you. In fact, in the last year, we've empowered over 135,000 hackers from all around the world. Now, by being at JAMHacks 6 this weekend, you're earning community points to your school, college, or university. You can win more by attending more MLH member events, MLH Global Hack Weeks, and of course, even more MLH hackathons. And, if you have a great time here at JAMHacks this weekend, a great next place to check out would be Global Hack Week Init. You can get registered at hackp.ac/init. This is a completely digital global event with thousands of hackers, a ton more friends to go and meet from all around the world. Okay, enough of that. I can still see you talking at the back, friend. If you keep talking, then no free t-shirts tomorrow, just saying. But hey, if you do want to talk, make sure you come along to the Werewolf mini event. It's tomorrow at like 5:30. It's somewhere in E7. We'll announce it closer to the time, whatever that place is. This is a great place to take a relaxing time from hacking, do something fun, meet some new friends. If you've never played Werewolf, basically you get to pretend to die and it's okay. So it's a fun game. We'll also be giving away 2022 season teas while supplies last. If you come to Werewolf, you will get first dibs, except we are giving away like 10 t-shirts today. So straight after opening ceremony, basically the first 10 people to get to the MLH table upstairs, you get a free t-shirt straight away. So just saying. Okay, we also have a ton more resources and some amazing prizes that you can win. First up, the team which uses GitHub in the most creative way will win a GitHub swag bundle. You can win this really simply by going to that link, signing up for GitHub Global Campus, and then using GitHub in your project. So that could be anything from just committing your code all the way up to using GitHub Pages, and whichever team does it the best. I broke it. You can get $50 of credit today. Just sign up at hackfee.ac/Twilio. You don't even need a credit card to get started. Also, to win a free wireless QI charger, we're giving away a free .tech domain name to every single person here, whether they're online or in person, courtesy of domain.com. Just head over to hackfee.ac/domain. The promo code will be in Discord shortly. I've just realized it's not on the slides, but hey, things happen. Also, ton of prize categories. The best web monetization hack, which uses Coil, which is a great way of you monetizing your web pages without needing to ask people to go and input payment details and all of that fun stuff, will win a portable charger, Coil pin, and $60 Coil credit as well as basically glory by signing up at hackfee.ac/Coil. Additionally, every single person here can get a free 6-month Coil subscription to get started developing with it. So if you want to have a go at using cryptocurrency and all the blockchain stuff to go and do something cool, I definitely recommend Coil. Okay, we're nearly there. You can also win $100 worth of DSO coin and a tumbler by entering our best use of DSO prize category. DSO is the official Web3 sponsor of the MLH Hackathon League, and I really, really recommend you check them out. You can do so at hackfee.ac/DSO. And finally, if you're talking, you're going to want to hear this bit. At 10 p.m., as soon as hacking wins, if you want to build a hardware hack this weekend, we are giving away 5 free Growth Beginner kits. So these are Arduino compatible boards at the MLH table. That is at 10 p.m. Okay? The first 5 people who get there will get one per team, and you get to keep them if you get one and build a hardware hack. So if hardware is your thing, I definitely recommend coming along. And if you want to keep building, check out hackfee.ac/digikey. They're an awesome place to go and buy hardware. Okay, you need to see all of this stuff again. Don't worry, just head over to DevPost that I talked about earlier. And also, If this is your first hackathon, you've never built something cool before, then I definitely recommend demoing your project, even if you don't get finished. Show the judges what you've made. You can earn a really special iDemo sticker. We do a special one as well, right, for JAMHacks. Okay, I'm nearly done. I know many of you are looking for jobs or internships, or maybe even a career, so check out the MLH Career Lab. These companies and more are looking to hire hackers just like you. And finally, if you want a remote internship alternative, the MLH Fellowship is a really awesome 12-week summer internship alternative that lets you learn production level skills, make open source communication contributions, and is 100% remote. It is also paid with a stipend. I definitely recommend it. The summer program begins on May 31st. You can learn more and apply at hackb.ac/MLH Fellowship. And we're partnered with companies such as Meta, which is Facebook, and GitHub to deliver it this year. Okay, listen up, because this is the most important slide I'm going to say. On a more serious note, MLH hackathons are a safe space for everyone. By being at this event, whether you're a hacker, a volunteer, a sponsor, or continuing to talk, even during this very important slide, these rules apply to you. If you have not already checked out the MLH Code of Conduct, I really recommend you do. To mlh.io/code of conduct. In short, be respectful. Harassment and abuse will not be tolerated. If anything does happen to you, please come and find me, come and find an organizer. And if any of us are not around, send an email to incidents@mlh.io or call this number. If you can't find them, you can go to this link, mlh.io/code of conduct, to go and get it. Again, we want you to have an amazing time this weekend. If anything is preventing that, please let us know. And as a final reminder, if you're online and watching me right now, please be patient. If people are not replying to messages immediately, they're probably just not replying yet. So please try not to get too impatient. And additionally, cheating is still not allowed and can result in penalties up to including league-wide disqualification for the rest of the season. Okay, that's all of that important stuff. Thank you so much again to all of our partners. I am super excited to be here this weekend, and I cannot wait to see what you all create. Happy hacking.
All right, now moving on. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, first of all, and I think I need to talk about some prizes. So if you guys haven't been paying attention, I really recommend that you guys do right now, because the entire event is basically winning prizes. So, yes, which slide? Starting off hot, we got the first place overall award. So each member is going to be winning an NVIDIA Shield TV, a 3-month subscription to Maple Learn Premium, a 1-year subscription to Wolfram 1 Personal Edition and Wolfram Alpha Pro, a license to Only Office Docs Enterprise Edition, and $250 of DigitalOcean credits. I don't know about you guys, but an NVIDIA Shield TV is something I definitely look forward to winning to. Well, if you don't win first place, we got you guys with a Fitbit Versa. Each member of the winning team will win a Fitbit Versa 2, a 1-year subscription with Wolfram 1 Personal Edition and Wolfram Alpha Pro, and $125 of DigitalOcean credits. And moving on to third place, we got you guys with the best deals with Best Buy. Each member of the winning team will receive a $75 Best Buy gift card, a 1-year subscription to Wolfram 1 Personal Edition and Wolfram Alpha Pro, and $125 of DigitalOcean credits. And if this is your first hackathon, we got you covered with the best beginner hack. Compete with other beginners to receive a Google Home Mini, an automatic acceptance into Hack the North 2022, and 1-year subscription to Wolfram Alpha Pro and Wolfram 1 Personal Edition. Once again, thanks Hack the North for judging the best beginner projects and giving them an opportunity to attend Hack the North, which is Canada's largest hackathon. Now, let's focus on the best sustainability or social good hack. Projects that emphasize sustainability or social good have the chance to win a hydroponic smart indoor garden for everyone on the team. Now, for all the gamers out there, don't think we forgot about you. This prize is for the project that creates the best game or entertainment project. Each team member of the winning team will receive a $60 Control-V arcade gift card or a Steam gift card. So, if you're good at playing games, I challenge you guys to create a game project. So, what if you don't want to create a website, or if you don't want to create an application? Try to build a robot or build an engineer project that will focus on hardware. For the best hardware hack, the winning team will receive 2 Arduino camera modules, 2 Arduino Wi-Fi modules, 1 Arduino GPS module, and 1 Arduino vibration sensor. Now, not everyone is going to want to build a robot, so what about building a website? For the best website hack, we got you covered with a 24-month Framer Pro subscription and $50 UiPath gift card to use in their gift shop. The best hack for university students is sponsored by the University of Waterloo, and each team member will receive a University of Waterloo hoodie. And for the last prize to talk about, we have the best hack built on Ethereum, supported by the Ethereum Foundation. Learn about the blockchain and create a project that is built on Ethereum for a chance to win a quarter of Ethereum split between all your members. That's around $650 split between your team. And remember, Ethereum is a cryptocurrency that you can that you can use to buy some cool stuff. So I think this prize is definitely something you should look forward to. Where's Marco? I think we're going to take a 3-minute break before our keynote speaker, Chris Albinson, so everyone just keep talking to yourselves. Albinson? No. You're looking for Marco. Yeah.
What'd you say to them? This is intermission? Great. Yeah. Albertson has been an early investor in companies that have created $45 billion in value, including Pinterest, DocuSign, Newbridge Networks, and Juniper Networks. Chris is currently on the board of Senso AI and an investor in GameCloud, Harper Wilds, SignalWire, Gentro, CareerList, Pinterest, Turo, and a bunch of other companies. He is a mentor and or advisor to Techstars, Garage Capital, SaaS North, 6 Canadian Innovation Exchange Top 20, and TI Econ 2020. Well, without further ado, 1 second, please. Let's get Chris on call here. Switch to the all right here. Yep. All right. Without further ado, can we get a warm welcome for Chris Albinson? Chris, can you hear me?
I can, Marcos. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Awesome. I had to pull my truck off the side of the road and jam myself into a Panera Bread so I could have like good connectivity, but we're here.
Well, we are so grateful that you were able to do that, and we're so happy to have you here. So in this keynote, I think the best way for us to go about this is I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and we're going to have a discussion about some of the things that you're working on and some advice that you can give to all of our audience here today. Sound good?
Sounds awesome. Looking forward to it.
All right, great. So the first question I really have for you is, how did you really get started? So what was it that actually got you involved with venture capital in the first place? And how did your early education or interest play into that?
Okay, so this is going to be a weird answer, but like there's this public school outside of Kingston called Welburn Public School, and we had a gym teacher there. His name was John Dunbar, and he kind of came into the school and kind of lit it up. He's like, hey, we're not just gonna like go compete, but like we're gonna go compete at a different level. And nobody really understood what the heck he meant. But that the cool part was he said like, hey, we're gonna let you come into school early and like run the halls. Like when you know how like everyone tells you you're not allowed to run in the halls. So we ran the halls and like we went from like this nowhere school to like we're winning the cross country, we're winning the the track meets, we're winning the soccer, like all this cool stuff. And it was all about like competing and having fun. So really weird story, but there were 4 people in that little public school outside of Kingston at the same time, and we all became venture capitalists in Silicon Valley. So I don't know what it was about what John Dunbar did, but it's a pretty weird thing to say that we all became VCs in Silicon Valley.
Interesting. Was there something like particularly special about these like 4 people that actually you all ended up in the same sort of field and place?
No, I think we all kind of came to it from very different paths. My path was through doing 5 startups. So I had 2 startups in Canada, 1 in Russia, and then 2 down in Silicon Valley. Another gentleman, Scott Bonham, he became an investment banker, didn't like that lifestyle at all, ended up going to China, thought China was pretty cool, and then figured out how to connect China and Silicon Valley. So a completely different path. Heather Preston, just brilliant scientist. So she was really interested in life science, went down that path, got her PhD, started doing research, and said like, I want to like actually build stuff and invent stuff. She went and did a couple of startups, and then she found her way into venture capital. And then Vic Gupta, he was a little bit of in between. So they're all Forrest Gump stories in one way or another, I guess.
Interesting. So speaking about Silicon Valley, what was it that brought you there initially, and what were you doing at the start when you were there in Silicon Valley?
Yeah, I think everyone knows like the Summer of Love, and like California is cool, and you could do interesting things there, and it was very open. The East Coast and startup life on the East Coast at the time was very buttoned down, literally. You had to wear a suit and a tie, and like none of that stuff interested me. And like this idea, you go to this cool place and work with people from all over the world to go build big things. It was the time to go there. So I went in the summer of '99. That was startup number 4 for me, and I met a couple of my co-founders, and we just said, hey, we're going to go there and build something really cool, and that's what got me to go there.
What was it that you were working on first when you were there?
That startup was it was a company that did high resilient, globally distributed compute fabrics, leveraging a low latency global network that integrated into zero fail systems for critical applications on the internet. We now call that cloud. Cloud was like a way cooler name, but like we're just starting out. So we built that for a woman named Deborah Tripati, who was the CIO at E-Trade, and she was a very, very tough customer, but she was an awesome customer. We knew if we could like make E-Trade work on the internet, that we could do a lot of cool things for a lot of different companies, and that was our starting point, and had a great run.
Interesting. And how many years did you spend there in the Valley?
I went down in the summer of 1999 for 2 years. So like, sometimes you want to go to Mecca, go to the place that's the coolest place of the thing you want to do. And I got stuck a little bit. I didn't come home until last year, so I was down there for 20 years.
20 years. And tell me, how has Silicon Valley evolved, like in your experience there, and how has it changed compared to when you were first there?
I'll be honest, it's gotten a lot worse, and not good things. So when I first went there, you could come from anywhere in the world and you were welcomed to the United States, you were welcome to Silicon Valley. There's this idea of anything was possible. You could build anything, the whole American dream thing. And I think in sort of post-Trump, there was 2 things that happened. One was Silicon Valley kind of was a victim of its own success, kind of like, we forget that Boston was the world center of the universe for innovation until 1995. Most of you guys were probably not born then, but Boston was the coolest and the biggest place in the world to go do stuff. And then that switched to Silicon Valley around 1995. And just like Boston, when the big companies got so big, they started kind of suffocating out the oxygen for the little more interesting companies. And so there's been a lot of talk about techlash in terms of the social implications of the success of Silicon Valley, about the growth culture in some of the companies and how toxic that was and really not fun to be around. But also, the life fuel of global world-class amazing innovation centers is immigration. And for whatever reason, around when Trump ran for president and continues to this day, the US has really shut itself off from global talent. And that's the lifeblood and the most critical thing to make an awesome place to go build really cool things for humanity.
Interesting. So if not Silicon Valley now, as what you think maybe the strongest place for up and coming tech, where do you see the next big place for startups and venture capital technology?
Well, I think the data is pretty cool and very clear. It's Canada. Canada is now the second largest innovation hub in the world, fastest growing by about 4x. Last year, $17.2 billion was invested in our fastest growing companies. It's really the only place that's wide open to global talent, wide open to global markets, and wide open to global capital. So we've got a really cool opportunity right now. It's pretty exciting to be around. It's the reason I came home.
That's really great to hear, considering our whole audience here is Canadian. So it's good that there's a lot of innovation fostering locally. So let's talk or shift gears a little bit now into maybe more stuff about Communitech. So can you tell us a little bit now about when you joined Communitech, what is the personal mission that you've been pursuing and trying to strengthen at Communitech?
Yeah, so I should step back because not everybody knows. Communitech is this really cool place that was actually started by founders in the Waterloo region for founders. So it's not a thing of government. It's not, a bunch of founders that were early, starting their cool companies realized it's a very Waterloo thing. Like if we're going to go raise a big barn, we're going to go build something really big. We got to come together and support each other. So it was folks like Tom Jenkins, who was the founder of OpenText, and Jim Basile, the founder of RIM. Before those companies were big, came together to start Communitech almost 25 years ago. And our mission today is pretty similar. We now support 1,600 founders in the region. And our mission is very simple, trying to help those companies have global success. And we work with about 800 companies that are less than $1 million in revenue. So think like early startups, early ideas, trying to figure out what the product market fit is. We work with about 400 companies that are 5 million to 20 million in revenue. So really starting to grow, starting to sell their products and services outside of Canada. And then we work with 172 companies we call True North companies. And these are companies that are objectively in the 1%, highest performing companies in the world that happen to be Canadian. All three sets of companies are super fun to work with in different ways. And that's what we wake up and do every day.
Right. And so in terms of going back to now your own personal goals, so what is it that brought you specifically, or what is it that you're trying to accomplish in the last, or since you're joined Communitech, that maybe Communitech hasn't done in the past?
Yeah, it's a little bit, for those of you that are familiar, and I'll just jump into sports metaphors, which are always risky, so forgive me for that up front. But in 2002, I was in Salt Lake City, and I was really fortunate to watch our Canadian women win the first gold medal we've had in hockey in 50 years. And it was the best hockey game I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely amazing. And people forget, like back then, you guys probably, again, weren't born then, or some of you weren't, but it was the first Winter Games in the United States since the Miracle on Ice. Like they were like, we're the Americans, we're hosting, we're going to win everything. The Canadian women hadn't beat the Americans in 3 years. Not a single game had they won in 3 years. So then they show up, for the gold medal match on American ice, the whole country, both Canada and the US, watching, and our Canadian women like crushed the Americans. It was so fun to watch. But the cooler thing was actually the next day in the village. And in the next day, it was a pretty small Olympics because it was the first one past 9/11. And you could talk to the Canadian athletes. And they're kind of like, hey, it's the Winter Games. Like, why are we not the best in the world? We should be the best in the world all the time. Like, why is this like a rare thing? And there was a woman there named Kathy Priestner, who not only said, why aren't we? But she said, why are we not? And what do we have to do to make it happen? Kathy Priestner was the mother of On the Podium. She's the one who basically said we need to use objective data to find the athletes that have the probability of success and really get behind them, figure out what's getting in their way of success, and make sure they get there. So why do I bring all that up? In 2008, not all of you will remember, but it was a pretty awful recession. That's when Nortel went bankrupt. Our crown jewel, BlackBerry, in the region went down. There was no venture capital in the country. You know, the whole innovation ecosystem was just about to collapse. And you know, a number of founders said, you know what, we're going to stay here, we're going to build here, we're going to build awesome companies here, and this is the place to go do it. And out of that, you know, I started an organization called C100, which is, I'm not a good marketing guy, so I'll just say that up front. But the idea was pretty simple. Go find the 100 highest potential entrepreneurs in the country and connect them with the 100 most successful Canadians, and good things would happen. So through that, I got to mentor folks like Toby Liu and Harley Finkelstein, the founders of Shopify. And I was with them early days when there were just 3 people. You know, Harley was trying to figure out how to sell his snowboards. And out of that problem that he had came the idea for Shopify. And everyone said, hey, like, if you're gonna go build something big, don't do it in Canada, go somewhere else. You know, you can't build $1 billion revenue company in Canada. You guys probably all know this part of the story. Shopify got to $1 billion in revenue faster than any company before or since anywhere in the world. And how do I connect these stories? Shopify was kind of like our gold medal in women's hockey. And that really inspired a whole generation of founders to say, like, why aren't we the best in the world? We should be the best in the world. And let's just go do it. And so we're actually using Kathy Priestner's playbook that she built on the podium, developed a strategy called True North. And we launched it last fall. And our mission is to get 14 companies to $1 billion in revenue by 2030. So that's the new long answer to a really cool question, I guess. That's what we're up here at Communitech is True North strategy, and having a lot of fun doing it.
Interesting. So I have another question for you. When you were talking about Boston and Silicon Valley and how they kind of failed in a sense, how is it that we here in Canada are going to avoid those same pitfalls that Silicon Valley and Boston faced, and make sure that when we scale up, that we don't have the same stagger in innovation?
No, it's a great question. It's something actually kind of keeps me up a little bit at night. So there were 3 things that they screwed up, both Boston and the Valley. One was they were a victim of their own success. So they had so much high-performing companies that there wasn't room for early startups. That was probably the hardest one to mitigate. The second one is they became a very hard and kind of unwelcoming place for global talent, for global immigrants. And Canada's got the best policy in the world today for global immigration, global skills, really welcoming people from all over the world to come and build really cool things. And so I think, you know, as long as we don't change our immigration policy, we're going to be in great shape. You know, and the third one is when you have really rapid growth, and we're experiencing that. To give you a quick sense on that, in the Waterloo region, we were hoping when I started a year ago that by 2025, in just 3 years, we could get to 24,000 tech workers in town. Last year, we crossed 26,000, 4 years ahead of schedule. So hoping that by 2025, we would have $1 billion a year invested in the companies locally. In the last 16 months, $3.6 billion has been invested. So let me say that again. In the last 16 months, $3.6 billion has been invested in our startups locally. That's as much as the previous 16 years combined. So we're on like a really crazy, awesome growth curve right now. But we have to be really mindful about the impact of that on the community. You know, the cost of housing is going up. Our homeless community is growing. People that are being marginalized because their ability to have access to housing is going up. So we're intentionally talking about, hey, we're going through an exponential curve. We need to plan for it exponentially, not in a linear way, the way most municipal services are planned. So we're taking a delegation to San Francisco the end of June to see what can we learn from their experience. How to, you know, what things did they do right, what things did they not do right, and see if we can learn that. And so I'm excited about that trip coming up in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. How maintainable is that exponential growth?
Sorry, I lost the first part.
How maintainable is that exponential growth? Because
yeah, no, it's a great question. I think it's 100% dependent on talent. Talent is the shortest thing. So as long as we're still the most welcoming place in the world for global talent, I think it's 100% extensible. If we become the place people go, that will end our run.
Right, and I mean here in Canada, our top universities have produced a lot of talent. How has the reputation from these Canadian universities shifted in your experience? And do people value Canadian engineers and the talent here more than they did, or more so maybe than some American or other country schools nowadays? Or how is the general reputation looking for Canadian universities?
Yeah, no, it's a thoughtful question. So I'm going to focus on computer science and engineering, if that's okay in the answer.
Yep, sure.
But a good friend of mine, Angela Strange, was running all of Google Mobile Chrome, the entire global engineering team. And she said, when we're hiring for raw skills, there's the list of top schools that Google hires from, just in raw horsepower from an engineering point of view. And the first school on that list was Caltech. The second one was, I think, MIT. And you kind of get the sense they were mostly, very well-known U.S. schools.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, like, I have a really interesting second list that we also have at Google. And it's 5 years after people have been hired. Where do they have the fastest growth in their career? They're going up the ladder faster. They're getting more responsibility. Once they're inside Google, they're some of their best engineers. And the top school on that list was University of Waterloo. The second school on that list was University of Michigan. The third school on that list was Queen's University. The fourth school on that list, I think, was Purdue. And the fifth one was UBC. And then, so for Google, it's like there's something wrong because almost none of the kids from the first list are having that much success as the kids that are on the second list. So what's that all about? Google asks lots of questions. They do lots of deep crunching on data. But the funny one that came to the top, like, guess what the most correlated thing as to why going to the second set of schools was better for you than the first set of schools?
Sorry, can you repeat that last part? Guess the
one thing that happened in the second schools that didn't happen in the first set of schools that made the kids that came through those schools ultimately have more success once they started their careers.
Honestly, I have no clue. I'm interested to know though.
One word. Fun.
Fun?
Fun. The kids had way more fun going to those schools. They had more fun working together. They had more fun building stuff. They had more leadership opportunities. And the first list of schools wasn't that fun. They were kind of grinding. They were, all type A, like the kind of places where people steal textbooks so other people can't have access to them in the library, kind of crazy stuff like that. Whereas in the second list of schools, like University of Waterloo, there's a lot of teamwork, lots of working together, learning how to do that and having fun while you're doing it. So long way to answer your question, but Canadian schools are pretty darn good at having fun and, helping people develop, the ability to work together and build cool stuff. And so, what's the number one school from a recruiting point of view? I'll rephrase that. What school is the number one or number two or number three school to recruit from globally for Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Square, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and Shopify?
Well, I would say MIT, probably under that list. I would probably also guess Waterloo somewhere on that list. And
Waterloo is the only one that's on all those lists. It's the only school that's on all those lists. So long way to say, like, we've got some pretty cool, awesome universities we should be really proud of.
Okay, I mean, that's really interesting. And I think that, hold on a second, it's getting a little bit loud here.
Yep.
So, well, now that we kind of talked a lot about education and that type of stuff, let's shift more into some questions about advice, because I think a lot of our audience would prefer to hear or would like to hear some kind of hard lessons or things that maybe you have to share. So one of the things I have here on my list is a pretty generic question, but I think is a good one. What is the hardest lesson that you have learned in your career?
It's probably like the other side of the coin of the best lesson. So Aaron, who is the founder of Box, it's a company in the Valley. I always try to figure out like what made an awesome entrepreneur do the things that they do. And I was meeting with Jack Dorsey, brought him up actually to Waterloo a couple of years ago, 7 years ago, I guess. And I'm like, why are some entrepreneurs so successful? What is it about them? And Aaron basically said, it's the dog with the favorite toy. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but if you have a dog, it's this weird thing. I have a dog, and she has all kinds of different toys. She could go with anything she wants. She wants to pull on a rope or a bone or a whole bunch of different things. But there was one soccer ball that she was crazy fixated on, and would bring it back to me over and over again till my leg fell off for kicking it, or she fell down because she was so tired, but didn't want to do all those other things. And that was the other pattern recognition. It's you're so fixated on a problem, it just makes you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. And you have so much fun trying to solve that problem. So Jack Dorsey, when he was probably about most of your age, a kid in St. Louis sitting in his parents' basement, got a radio scanner and just listened to short form radio, taxi dispatch, ambulance dispatch, police dispatch. And he was just fascinated with short form communication. It was just this problem that completely he's so interested in since he was 14. That's why we have Twitter. Twitter was actually originally a company called Odeo, which was a podcasting company that completely failed. And then Jack basically said, well, if it's failed, can I go work on the thing that I'm interested in? And so they rebranded Odeo to Twitter, and then Twitter became Twitter. And so that's on the positive side. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night, that you think about all the time. Go find those big problems that are really interesting to you. To answer your earlier question, what's the hardest lesson? It's when I did that with my last company we were talking about earlier, Digital Island, and we're building the first cloud infrastructure for global compute. And my board decided to, they wanted to sell the business after we went public, and I was pretty bummed out about it. I should have fought harder. Once you got your baby, don't ever let it go. And I miss that team. I miss that company. I miss the stuff we were building.
I see. So another question I have on my list here. In your opinion, what is the most important up-and-coming technology or software for the next 10 years?
So this is always kind of a weird question to ask, because there's some really cool technology coming together all at the same time right now. But if I look at the technologies that I think are going to have the biggest impact across the broadest range of applications, it's AI and ML. in the time frame that you're talking about, there's no question that AI and ML are going to be, the biggest transformational technologies, and it's going to impact every industry, every part of your life. We've got one company that we're working with right now is using machine vision and AI to improve mushroom picking. Now, that may not sound like a very interesting thing to use AI for, but it actually improves crop yield by 20%. So if you increase crop yield by 20%, that means the cost of mushrooms go down by 30%. Everyone can have mushrooms and they're going to be really cheap. So there's really cool, interesting things that AI is being used for in finance, in life sciences, and hospitals. So that's a short answer. I could give you a couple other technologies if you're interested in, but would love to kind of get some other questions in here too.
Well, I think AI is interesting, and maybe we can focus a little more on that because
Sure.
it's quite a buzz term, right? So how would you define AI, and what does that kind of mean to you?
It's if you boil it all down and get rid of the jargon, it's just being able to use massive data sets and pull insights out of massive data sets in ways that we never could before because of cloud compute, because of the computational intensity and the low cost of computational intensity. We can now take much bigger sets and have bigger insights, whether or not it's about using machine vision connected to AI for mushroom picking, to a company called Signal One that is basically using that information to actually decrease death rates in hospitals by 15%. Let me say that again. They're using AI and machine learning on massive data sets to decrease death rates in hospitals by 15%. Which is huge, and it's just using AI. It's not changing medicine. It's not changing how the hospitals work. It's just using that information to make sure that patients are better supported by the people that are standing by the bedside, the nurses and the doctors.
Does that mean we will replace doctors one day?
I think all of these technologies, everyone always asks that question, like, are we going to, replace the humans? Every wave of technology from, the printing press, that question's been asked. And the cool thing is the machines do more and more rudimentary things that humans really aren't set up to do, and then the humans get to do cooler things.
Right. It is definitely an exciting future ahead of us, and AI, no doubt, is something that is going to impact our lives so much. We are approaching the end here of our keynote, so I would like to open now if there are any last thoughts or things that you want to share with our audience as we kick off our event right now.
Yeah, no, the only thing I would say is, don't underestimate the awesome opportunity in front of you, and just go after it. Don't let anybody tell you no. Don't anybody tell you you can't build something big or awesome. I was really lucky early in my career to work with a founder, a guy named Terry Matthews. And I remember standing in a marsh outside of Ottawa, ankle deep in the spring in mud. And he looked up and he said, there's going to be a 10-story tower full of engineers there. And then there's going to be another 10-story tower full of engineers on the right of it. And I was kind of like, oh my God, are you crazy? But, he just had a big vision and he didn't let anything get in his way. And, if you've been used to working in a world where everything's small, everything's constrained, sometimes that becomes your reality. Try to break that reality and think about doing really big, impactful things, and don't slow down. No matter how many times you're told, you can't do it, just bust through walls, go make it happen.
That's definitely very well said and insightful. We actually have, I think we'll do one last question here. I'm taking this one from the audience. Because we're all high schoolers here, this hackathon, right? So this is kind of the pretext to this, but Can you tell us about your high school experience and what things you did or made during those years that helped you in your future endeavors?
Okay, so I had to do a computer science project and a geography project. And I was pretty lazy about it, and I didn't want to do both. But I said, well, what if I did a computer science project on geography? And so there had been an earthquake in Chile about that time, and there was lots in the news about like how they were struggling to figure out like what supplies and what medical support should go. And I'm like, what if like you could have an earthquake simulator, take all the data from all the earthquakes, and if you knew how many people lived in a place, and if you knew how, what the construction was, and you knew how big the earthquake was, you could actually have a simulator would say, you need this much medical supplies, you need this much housing support. So I built an earthquake simulator, and because I was lazy, I did it for like both classes. That's the reason I did it. I ended up getting an A in both classes. I ended up winning like this crazy geography class. And CETA, which is the Canadian Aid Agency, now 35 years later, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, still uses the simulator that I did in high school to figure out what their emergency response is. They've updated it with more data sets. But so my lesson out of that is think creatively. The intersection of things, that's the other lesson. The intersection of things is really where the cool stuff happens. So it was like when geography met computer science, that was the cool stuff.
Well, that's actually quite amazing. 35 years, that's a long time. That's probably double the age of like a lot of our participants. So anyways, let's get a round of applause, please, for Chris Albinson.
Somebody should go fix that thing and make a better one. Have an awesome hackathon, guys. Really thanks a lot for letting me chat with you. Enjoy it a lot.
Thank you, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. See you, Marcos.
Bye. All right, you want to take care of it?
Make sure to stay for a brief JAMHacks Kahoot after we end the stream for people that are joining us online. From now until 10 p.m., which is when hacking officially starts. You've got some time to browse around at our venue or on Discord, get to know our other hackers, form teams either in person or via Discord, visit our sponsor booths and channels, and enjoy dinner, which will be served shortly. And again, don't be afraid to reach to one of us via the help desk channel in Discord or just talk to us here if you have any further questions. Thank you so much for coming to our opening ceremony, and we hope you enjoy our stay at JAMHacks 6.
I don't think anyone's interested.
Running or no? Okay. Yeah, I can leave, right? And then come back?
Yeah.
Right.
Come back up before 10.
Before 10?
Before 10.
Yeah. Okay.
7:30. Going right now.
Chill, calm down.